We're at the final of Star Trek Picard Season 2. The last episode may have been an interesting one, but will this final wrap up the season in a satisfying way, or leave us waiting with bated breath for the third season and the return of many faces from the next generation? Well, maybe the preview given to us by the trailers and promotional pictures of Season 2's 10th episode, Farewell. Let's take a look. Spoiler warning, we'll be showing preview footage from the upcoming Star Trek Picard Season 2 episode. You have been warned. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack, and let's get straight into it. But before we do, like always, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from myself and the team here at Trek Central. You can of course also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. As always, please know what you think in the video comment section below, because if you're talking about Star Trek, then we want to hear about it. Okay, engage. So, from the trailer, we see what is probably the Shango space shuttlecraft, but due to it being more simple rocket-shaped, and not the shape we've seen in previous Europa mission posters, and at the ball, it might just be the rocket to get the final components up into space, or even just the pilots, with the Shango currently in orbit. That would make more sense. As of last week, the only obstacles in the way of Picard and his gang are Q, who we don't know entirely what's happening with him, and Adam Soong. Now that the Borg Queen has been pacified, and is going to make her newer Borg collective. So, unless Q is going to do something himself, which he might as he's seemingly more interested in Koi Soong since he got free than Adam Soong, this could have been just a way for Q to get Soong more fanatic in dealing with Rene Picard. We do find out this plan in the trailer as well. As previously seen, we saw that Adam has developed highly specialized drones, which create a field that filters sunlight, previously used to help Koi go outside when she was still struggling with her genetic condition. But Soong is going to use these drones to affect the Europa mission, perhaps even causing the ship to explode while on its way into orbit. Last week, we were given a very vague, cryptic piece of information from the Boragi. This is the Borg Queen and Jurati mixed together, which is one that Rene has to die and one where Rene has to live. Whether this means a deeper aspect, one part of Rene needs to die and another needs to live, or a more physical aspect, i.e. she physically needs to die, but also physically needs to live, is unknown. It's a little confusing, I'll be honest. But in this trailer we do see Tarlin, the supervisor of Rene, also donning a NASA flight suit, and maybe taking the place of one of Rene's flight mates. She'll definitely be observing closer there. The scene also has Tarlin disguised as Mary Orlando, offering Rene her necklace, which we saw her reaching out for when we first knew Rene as Rene Picard, in this elimination scene in an early episode. This necklace is of a sailing boat, and considering Rene taught herself how to sail at a very early age in the south of France, might hold some significance for her, maybe courage to keep trying at what she is doing. Could it be that Tarlin is going to sacrifice herself in some regard? Perhaps sacrifice her for Rene, which gives Picard the kick and ass to actually replicate the feelings for Laris feels him when they inevitably return to the future. I mean, let's be honest, they probably are returning to the future. Watch closely, there was a small clip of an explosion from the USS Stargazer, so it does seem that we will be returning there by the end of the episode. I bet it's going to be a repeat sequence of the episode 1 opening sequence, i.e. all the Starfleet officers rushing to defend themselves from the Borg Queen and getting shot and things exploding. Adam Soong is seen taking Rene someplace. Perhaps after his drones fail, he takes matters finally into his own hands. It is interesting that everything Soong has done so far has been at the hands of other people, i.e. not actually doing things himself. From using Borg drones in the previous episode to using actual drones in the coming episode. We've seen how violent he can get, smashing his own lab equipment at his own failure. Hopefully the group save Rene before Soong messes up the timeline once and for all. Tarlin tells Jean-Luc that some people's deaths are not his fault, probably after finding out the fate of his mother, with Picard holding the skeleton key of Picard's chateau. The key in part signifies his guilt towards his mother, opening a door and trying to help her, but unfortunately believing he was responsible for her death. We do get a small clip of Seven and Raffi kissing. Finally, I think this would have worked exceptionally well in the last episode, when Seven becomes Borg again, and Raffi reminds her just how amazing she actually is. But if we can get some more of that as a couple in this episode, it'll be great. The rest of the season has shown they are really close, but not actually as close as ancillary material, like interviews or even the great audio drama Star Trek Picard No Man's Land has led us to believe. It's a shame we had to wait for the final episode of the season to actually, without a doubt, see on screen they are a couple. But at least we seem to be getting there, finally. Koi Soong is seen wearing her AR glasses in a library. I wonder why specifically she is in a library and what she's looking up. Or perhaps she's just stealing their free Wi-Fi so she can use the AR glass to look stuff up. Maybe it's the only device she has on her after leaving the Soong household. But don't forget, Q also previously contacted her via the AR glasses. Speaking of Q, over this we hear our good old John Delancey as Q saying that humans, your pain fixes you to moments in the past. This has been a theme addressed for the story of Season 2, but it's not unique to Picard. as it's especially memorable in the premiere episode of Deep Space Nine, with Sisko being stuck in the past after the death of his wife. But it does seem with this trailer that while Rios, Seven and Raffi go off to stop Soong's drones, and Tyler goes on to protect Renee, Picard is stuck in his chateau, and comes face to face with Q again, who has one more surprise up his sleeve apparently. So what about the promotional pictures for this week's episode? Well, we do have Tyler at what looks to be some NASA building. Obviously we saw from the trailer she's in disguise as one of the astronauts, so perhaps she sneaks in and knocks at the person she'll be assuming the identity of. She might even use tech to look different and perhaps only look the same on our screen. Adam Soong previously became a patron of the Europa mission by giving a large sum of cash as a donation for their funding and got accepted onto the seat of directors. It's a wonder what money can get you, even as a disgraced scientist who had their license practice revoked. He might be invited to watch the rocket blast off or use access to get to Renee. Raffi, Seven and Rios are seen at Soong's lab. As we saw in the trailers, to take care of the drones Soong will use to interfere with the Europa mission. I have to say for Seven, I know she has had it tough to be a ranger in the past 2 decades, but couldn't she have at least changed her blood color top before going on a mission? Well, maybe she couldn't since all her clothes were on La Serena. Damn you, Borg Queen. The next interesting set of pictures has Picard himself going to where the mission control of the Europa mission is. We even see him comforting Renee, so perhaps he finally comes clean to her and isn't as wise old security guard she previously met, but actually comes honest and says he is her great cousin, or whatever relation they are to each other at this point. I think that if he says how much is riding on her, she might even get more anxiety. But maybe it's enough to make her see how important she truly is to galactic affairs, and that she is capable of doing these things her mind says she cannot do. This might be a really touching moment, especially after Picard has finally, after like 9 decades, come to terms with the death of his mother, and doesn't want Renee to suffer the same fate. Finally, and I believe chronologically in the episode, this is the final as well. We leave the whole gang back at Chateau Picard. I like to think this is just after the Europa mission has been successful, as we do not see Tallinn there, who is unfortunately probably dead after sacrificing herself for the mission. Though we shall see. We will see Teresa and Ricardo Ramirez present. I think after the last time, Rios wouldn't put them in harm's way, but would want to see them one last time before we leave. Perhaps even taking the 2 of them with him. Everyone is also smiling, so I hope it's after a successful Europa mission. So, some theory time. Compared to previous weeks, I don't think there's really a lot to theorize about this new episode. However, the main thing we have to talk about, which hasn't been seen in these promo pictures or trailers, probably because of how big a spoiler it would be, is worth talking about. This is a theory, but in case it does come true and you do not want to know about this, you have been warned at the start of this video. The soundtrack for Star Trek Picard Season 2 officially came out the other day, and with this came some tracks from the currently unreleased episode of Picard, i.e. episode 10. One of the tracks was titled The Traveller. Now if you hear the term Traveller in Star Trek context, what do you think about? You obviously think about the Traveller from the Next Generation, who is a being that could alter time and space with a mere thought, allowing him to travel anywhere and in any time. In the end, this being took to mentoring Wesley Crusher, who would then go and be a traveller as well. Could Wesley appear in Picard and the gang and help him return to the future? Considering it was revealed that Wesley would not be returned to the other Enterprise crew for Season 3, this could be a good way to bring Wesley back in a way that works well with the story. However, by the same logic, there is another track called Guardian at the Gates in Season 2's soundtrack. We could easily see that Picard and the gang could be taken to the Guardian forever, maybe even meet Carl again. Guardian's a human avatar from Discovery Season 3. However, it would get very confusing with the Guardian, as they would be before the time of the war. If there was another such thing as before and after the Time War, considering the Guardian went into hiding because of the effects of the war and people trying to use him to kill others. Whatever might happen, the biggest question of final to me is at least how the crew will get home, whether it's Q or either of these options. Maybe even Agent Wells, who is actually now Lieutenant Duquesne from the 26th century. He's been recruited as a time agent. I mean, come on, I had to mention Lieutenant Duquesne once again, who knows? And don't forget to watch the final of Star Trek Picard Season 2 on Thursdays via Paramount+, CTV Sci-Fi Channel and Crave in Canada, and on Friday via Amazon Prime Video in international regions. Just today have we got brand new information that Paramount+ will be rolling out here in the UK on June 22nd, 2022. So if you don't have Amazon Prime Video here in the UK, you will eventually be able to watch Star Trek Picard next month. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen in the last week's episode of Star Trek Picard Season 2? Are we going to see another cliffhanger ending, teasing us for Season 3? Either way, we'll find out this episode and Friday when the brand new episode airs. If you do want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button so never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.